Never get married because you're in love. I'll say it again. If you're in love, don't get married. Isn't it crazy? It isn't the case. Let me explain why. Have you ever visited a singles bar? Go to the one closest to you and see what happens. When a guy approaches a woman at a singles bar or a woman approaches a man, they both know one thing about each other: their appearance. He and she are both drawn to one another. And whatever connection does or does not emerge is based on that bodily chemistry. They may now believe they are in love. However, they are just infatuated with each other. Remember this: chemistry starts the fire, but character keeps it going. Physical attraction in chemistry is something that should not be overlooked. A really loving relationship built on mutual respect, on the other hand, cannot rely just on chemistry. That can only happen if you have faith in and respect for their character. The greatest and, in some cases, the only way to establish a long-lasting relationship is to pay attention to the quality of the person you're dating. That includes keeping an eye out for both positive and bad character traits. Humility, kindness, responsibility, and happiness are the top 4 traits to search for. Humility. What exactly is humility? It's not like being a doormat. Allowing someone to walk all over you isn't always a show of humility. It's an indication of immaturity. People who are humble are not weak. Humble individuals choose to do the right thing above their own thing, which requires a great deal of self-assurance and inner fortitude. A humble person will prioritize values before convenience. Because they are devoted to personal improvement rather than comfort, they can accept criticism without becoming defensive. A humble person cannot readily become enraged since they do not believe that anyone owes them anything. That's why they're not particularly materialistic. You may believe that the previous description only refers to angels. It would also be a mistake to limit your search to someone who possesses all of the aforementioned attributes associated with humility. Nobody is flawless. However, you should seek for someone who appreciates humility and strives to attain it. At the very least, consider whether the person you're dating is arrogant. You don't want to marry an arrogant individual who believes the world owes him or her everything. Kindness. Kindness entails more than simply being a pleasant person. Most engaged couples would likely respond yes when asked whether their potential spouse is nice. However, the divorce rate is over 50%. Why is the divorce rate so high if everyone is so nice? Because, despite the fact that people believe they are kind, they aren't. So, what exactly is kindness? Being nice entails being a provider, someone who is dedicated to bringing joy to others while reducing their suffering. If 2 people like this marry, their relationship is significantly less likely to experience major issues. This is because everyone is concerned about the well-being of the others. How can you tell whether someone is genuinely compassionate? Take a look at how they treat their friends and family. What kind of relationship do they have with their parents, siblings, and grandparents? Do they owe their parents a debt of gratitude? If that's the case, what makes you think they'll be grateful to you once you're married? Keep an eye on how they handle the small people who serve them: waiters, busboys, doormen, and secretaries. What is their attitude toward their employees? What is their track record in business? Is it true that they are ruthless? Is the person you're seeing involved in any voluntary work? Do they donate to charity if they don't? If you answered no to both questions, it's not a good omen. Do they drive in a respectful manner? What happens if they drink a little too much and lose control? What is their conduct? Make a mental note of the responses to these questions. Write them down so you'll have a complete image in front of you when it's time to decide whether or not to stay in a relationship. Responsibility. First and foremost, consider if this individual is irresponsible. If the answer is yes, proceed with caution. You don't want to marry someone who is reckless. If your initial instinct is to say no, then investigate more. Is their job history consistent? Do they have strong bonds with one another? Do they have long-term friendships, or are they always on the move? Consider this: can you trust this person? Do you feel comfortable and secure while you're around them? Another important point to consider is whether or not you can believe what the other person says. Do they have the courage to speak what they mean? Do they follow through on their promises? Happiness. You could be at a loss for words on that one. When did happiness become a character trait? It all depends on your definition of happiness. A happy person is someone who is pleased with what they have rather than what they don't have. There are no promises in life. However, someone who is emotionally joyful will be able to overcome life's challenges, whereas someone who is continually focused on the bad would struggle. You also want to marry someone who can laugh at life. So keep in mind, never marry merely because you're in love. Instead, focus on character rather than chemistry. To live your life with, look for someone who is humble, kind, responsible, and joyful. Nothing less is acceptable. Give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends if you liked it so we can keep creating videos like this. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell. Also, don't forget to look at the rest of our videos.